Okay, so here are some more examples of the properties of numbers. You should have gotten a worksheet on those where you had to list out every single property used in every single step of simplifying the expression. So let's look at some more examples of those. We're going to do properties of numbers continued. Make sure you're putting the page number that you're on up here in the corner. Make sure you keep putting your date here. Depending on when time you do this. Okay, so for example, if I give us the expression 2 plus 6 times 9 minus 3 squared minus 2, we have to talk about what are we doing every single step. So following order of operations, the first step would be to look inside the grouping symbol and do that stuff first. Inside here, we have the 3 squared. So I'm just going to rewrite this 2 plus 6 times the quantity 9 minus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9 minus 2. So what we're doing here is looking at what was that property that we used 3 squared is the same thing as 9. Well, the only property that says I can replace the number 3 squared with the value 9 is the substitution. All right, now continuing on, 9 minus 9, I have 2 plus 6 times 9 minus 9 happens to be 0 minus 2. This is a fun one because we don't have a subtraction one, but subtraction is the same thing as adding a negative. Well, now we have a property used here. Adding the negative 9 is your additive inverse property. I'll put additive inverse. Okay, now we have nothing to do in the grouping symbol, but I do have some multiplying. 6 times 0. So I have the 2 plus 6 times 0 is 0 minus 2. And when you multiply by 0, that is your multiplicative property of 0. And now we have adding and subtracting left, so we can go left to right. 2 plus 0 is 2. That's a property. Anytime you add 0, it's your additive identity. And then I have 0 minus 2 gives me negative 2, which is, again, your additive identity because you've added 0 to a negative 2. Last step here, again, you have 2 minus 2, which is really 2 plus a negative 2, which is your additive inverse. So there's some examples here. Let's do another one. If I give us 12 plus 18 plus 16 plus 4, we can switch the order around, or we could use the associative property to find easier groupings. So for example, I can see 16 plus 4 is a nice number. 12 plus 18 is a number. So I'm going to do these two groupings first, which is your associative property. Twelve plus 18 is 30. 16 plus 4 is 20. That's substitution. Number 3, 30 plus 20 is, well, 50. So that's another substitution. Let's do one more real quick. If I did 2 times 3 times 5 times 6, I'm seeing that 2 times 5 gives me a 10. So what if I switch the order? I did 2 times 5 and 3 times 6. Switching the order when you're multiplying, that's your commutative property. Of multiplying. Number 2, I can do these two first and these two second, which means you have the associative property. And that gives me 10 times 18. There's substitution. 10 times 18 is 180, which is substitution again. Okay. Again, if there's any questions, please let me know on Wednesdays when we have office hours. The next one I would like to talk about is the distributive property. And this is going to go under the tab for this one. Okay. The way I like to introduce this is like a swimming pool. So if I have a rectangular swimming pool, usually there's rectangular and it's split into two ends. You have your deep end and then you have your shallow. We're looking for two ways to find the surface area of the pool. Let's say that the deep end goes 15 feet wide by 20 feet long. Your shallow end is 15 feet wide by 5 feet long. There are two ways to actually approach this problem. We'll look at way number 1 and then way number 2 over here. If I were to look at the two parts separately and look at the deep end happens to be a rectangle, the shallow end happens to be a rectangle, what if I found the area of the deep end, found the area of the shallow end, and added them together? So if I were to, let's say, pick a color here, I'm going to pick this blue color, find the area of the deep end. The deep end happens to be a rectangle, happens to be a 15 by 20, which gives me an area of 15 times 20, gives me an area of 300. Let's say I look at the shallow end. We'll do that in pink here. Also a rectangle. Area of a rectangle is length times width. So if I find the area of the rectangle for this guy, it would be 15 by 5. Well, 15 by 5 gives me an area of 75. Now that I have both of those areas, if I want a total, I would have to add them together, which gives me a grand total of 375 feet squared or whatever. That's one way to think about this. Another way some of you might have thought about, what if we thought of this thing as a whole rectangle itself? And I'm going to use orange for this. Okay, so for example, I'm looking at the entire pool. Still a rectangle. We'll use the length times width. My length, we'll say, is 15 by, well, the length of this rectangle happens to be two parts. You had the 20 from the deep end and the 5 from the shallow end. Gives me a whole length of 25. So if I did the 15 by 25, 15 by 25 gives me a total 375. Again, so we have two different, very different ways of thinking about it. And in fact, one way, I'm going to pick a color here. We like to call, I'm going to pick the blue color. One way we can say this, way number 1 happens to be the expanded form. And then way number 2, I'll pick that orange color again. We like to call this the factored form. Thing is, they both give us the same thing, but one form looks a little bit different than the other. So let's go down here and define factored and expanded. We did factored in orange, I think. So I'm going to do factored form. Factored form is a product of two factors. For example, the area of the entire pool was the length times the entire width. Factor number 1 is your length, factor number 2 is your width. We just use those two numbers. The length was 15, the width was 25. The expanded form, however, looks a little bit different. So I'm going to put expanded. I'm going to say is written as two separate, and I totally spelled that wrong, ER, terms. For example, we did the area of the deep end and the area of the shallow end. Added together. So we said the area was equal to the 15 times the 5 and the 15 times the 20. The distributive property takes one form and puts it into the other. So I'm going to put distributive property. Takes an expression in one form and puts it in the other. So you can either go forwards or backwards. We're going to start with taking something that's in factored form and putting it into expanded form. Okay, so for example, if I were to give you the factored form of the pool, we have 15 times the 20 from the deep end and then the 5 from the shallow end. One way to think about this is like, how did I get from here to this expanded form? Well, all we had to do was take this 15 and multiply by both factors. We had the 15 times the 20 and the 15 times the 5. And then when we got done there, we just added them together. So we went from factored to expanded by multiplying. I kind of think about this as like the 15 has to get multiplied to every single term inside the grouping symbol. So if there's 3 things inside the grouping symbol, 15 has to be multiplied 3 times. So for example, if I did 3 times the 2 plus 5, this is like the length of the pool. We take this 3 and we have to multiply that by the 2. So I get 3 times 2 and the 3 times the 5. When I'm done there, I need to add them together, which gives me 6 plus 15, which gives me a total of 21. This also works when you're doing subtraction. You just have to be a little careful. So if I did 4 times 9 minus 7, we can use the distributive property. So I get the 4 times the 9. And then I have the 4 times a minus 7. Or I could do minus 4 times 7, which gives me 36 minus 28, which gives me a grand total of 8. Also works for variables as well. So if I did 2 times 3x minus 5, I end up getting the 2 has to be multiplied by the 3x. So if you have 2 groups of 3x's, you have a 3x and a 3x, which gives you 6x. So I have 2 times 3x, gives me the 6x. I have a minus the 2 times the 5, which gives me a minus 10. And because I don't know what x is, I haven't given you that value, you're done. You can't go any farther than that. So here's the distributive property. In variables. If I did a times b plus c, you get a times b plus a times c. And then I'm going to stop here.